Welcome to Let's Go Outside, a podcast bringing moms together to chat about the raw, unfiltered reality of doing the exploring we love after having kids. No matter your comfort level of adventuring with the little ones, this is a space to have honest conversations about the real struggles of getting out the door with the kiddos. I'm Danika, a mama living in a small mountain town who's totally obsessed with healthy food and taking my kids outside every single day. I professionally guided backpacking trips in the Canadian Rockies, and I'm certified as a Leave No Trace instructor. On the show, you'll hear real experiences from other moms, plus tips on gear, trail snacks, and the best practices in the wilderness. Whether it's hiking, camping, backpacking, skiing, or traveling the world you want to do more of, this is your place to learn, find encouragement, and strip away any comparison. Come embrace both motherhood and the outdoors. Stick around. This is your place. Welcome to the Outdoor Mom Club. Yay! We did it. We are here. We're live. Welcome to Let's Go Outside podcast. This is Danika Vanderpaal. I am so thankful that you're here, that you're listening today. And there's definitely a reason that you're listening. I know that you're going to take something from this, so I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, I have been planning and dreaming about this podcast for a long time now, and just in the last couple months as I've shared about this vision with a couple people, they have gotten very excited about it, and thank you for that, because that has really kept this dream going and made it possible. So this podcast is for you guys. I'm so thankful. Okay, so this is a podcast all about going exploring with our kids, adventuring, whatever that might look like. If it's traveling the world, skiing, canoeing, hiking, camping, all those kinds of things we're going to talk about. Let's dive into a little bit more of that, okay? So if you've ever felt the hurdle of, I want to go outside, but how are we actually going to get out there and do that? Whether it's, do I have the capacity for this? Do I have what it takes? Or maybe it's, do my kids have what it takes? Are they going to make it through this adventure? Is it going to be good? Is it worth it, right? That might be something that you're wondering. Maybe you're questioning if you have the right gear, or what gear do you need? Maybe you want to try canoe camping, backpacking with kids for the first time, and you're wondering if you can carry it all, if you have the right gear, figuring out if this is a trail that your kids could do. Or maybe it's an international trip that you want to do, something beyond the resort. All of these things are what we're going to talk about today, or not necessarily today, but in this podcast and in future episodes. Things that might be stopping us from going on these adventures, doing these things with our kids or after having kids. That's what we're here to talk about. So I want to help you, connect you with the resources, with the support, with the insight for these adventures, these activities, and to show you that there's a community of people who are in the same boat that also love to go outside, to explore, to adventure, and that we're doing this alongside each other. So, the vision for the podcast. I'm so excited about this. Let's jump in. Really want to have real conversations where we can chat about what it's really like, how hard it is to be a mom, how amazing it is to be a mom, how maybe these hikes are long and tough and painful, but they're actually more magical in the end. Those memories that you might have and those things that we take with us after those hard experiences are just so worth it for us, and we want to keep doing them, and how to make that actually possible, and maybe how to make it more enjoyable, or how to create a better system as we go along and do these things. Okay? So the vision, I have four points here about the vision for this whole podcast that I'm going to run you through, just so you kind of get a taste of who I am and what I'm all about and what you're going to find here. Okay? So the first point is to educate ourselves and to learn. So what are the best practices in the wilderness and beyond? What has worked well for other moms doing these things before us, and what systems could we put into place to make going exploring easier, the practicalities of adventuring with kids, what gear, what clothing, all those kinds of things. So to learn and to educate ourselves. That is my number one point. Number two, this might be a little bit of a tangent, but we're gonna circle around. I have found social media very hard if I'm not in a good spot. I've also found motherhood can create a lot of comparison, and I think we're really hard on ourselves. And I think that with those two combined, motherhood and social media, there's a lot of feeling like we're not good enough, or we don't have what it takes, or just having a big dream but kind of being shut down by ourselves. And so I want to get to a place where we can dream big and cheer each other on, and not get stuck in that place of feeling like we're not good enough or we don't have what it takes. So that's what I mean when I say let's cut the comparison. Let's bring context to these conversations, and stop getting a warped view of maybe other people's beautiful highlight reel, and get like the real scoop on what's going on. And so I think that when we have these conversations, it brings so much context to actually what someone's life could look like. And I mean, not completely, but a better view when we're talking for 30, 40 minutes than a photo. And maybe it's not social media, maybe it's other places that you might feel comparison. However, I think it's a real thing. And so this is something that I have dealt with a lot. And so it's something that I really want to speak to, because I think it can be pretty toxic in the motherhood world, and I'm not about that. So let's get rid of that. Number 3, we are going to build confidence. We're going to cut the imposter syndrome, and we're going to go do what we're dreaming of doing. I want to cheer you on. I want to help you find your strengths and what you're good at and what works for your family. And I want to cheer you on. Going back to number 2 a bit about comparison, I want to create a place of where we're cheering each other on. So maybe there's something that somebody is really good at. Let's cheer them on instead of being jealous. And let's let them speak to us and help us find that spot where we can thrive at what we're good at and what we know and what we want to build on and what we're dreaming of. Okay? And so this also plays into number 4. I want to create a space to inspire and to build connection, to know that you're not isolated as a mom, that we're facing a lot of the same challenges in parenting and figuring out how to get outside and out the door and exploring and traveling and all these things. And I want to cheer each other on as we do this. So that is going to look like other moms coming on the podcast and talking about things that they have experience in, and they're going to share their tips. And some we're going to take and some we're going to leave, because some will do us well and some won't. But they're also going to share tips on their favorite gear. They're going to share places that they've gone and they've loved, and they're going to pass it down, because that's the community that we're in. And I'm really excited about that. I'm so excited to talk to more women who are excited about this, and to know that we're doing it together. So, in ending that vision section that I wanted to talk about, I want you to feel equipped, encouraged, and connected. That's my goal. I believe that you have what it takes for the children that you have to do what you're dreaming. And so how we're going to get there is going to be our own journey, but we're going to support each other in it. Now you're like, who is this Danika girl? Why is she talking to me? What is she all about? beyond this, what experience does she have? So I'm going to share a little bit about myself to give you the picture. I have 2 little boys. I have a 2-year-old and an almost 5-year-old. We live in the Canadian Rockies. I grew up in British Columbia, really close to the mountains, and now I live in a small town really close to the Continental Divide, and that is super special to us. We are so blessed to wake up and see mountains outside our window every day, and I don't want to take that for granted, and I think about that all the time, how thankful I am for that. So I started taking my boys outside every single day when they were really, really little. This started from when I was pregnant with my first son. I went to a doula for a course, and she talked about how when postpartum depression is a real thing, a really real thing, and we might face it. And she said one of the things that you can do to help yourselves is to stand at the doorway every day or get outside every day, whatever that may look like, even if it's just sitting on the deck, even if it's just opening the door and breathing fresh air, whatever that's going to look like for you, it will help your head. It will help your whole being. And so I took that quite literally, because there has been very low points, I feel like, growing up, just feeling overwhelmed, or maybe just on the verge of seasonal depression or experiencing those dips. And so I decided that I was going to try that, to try and go outside every single day. And I was super blessed to be able to have a community that supported me in going outside and doing this. And so Daniel and I took Co outside the second day that he was here on earth with us, and we just did such a short walk. And ever since then, I have made it my goal to go outside every single day with my kiddos. And there has not been a expectation beyond that. There's not a time limit or an activity that we're going to do. It's let's see what happens, and kind of adjust to that, to the day that it is, and what we're gonna do today. So in the winter, I would say it is a lot shorter. We are in the winter seasons right now, and it is a lot shorter times outside. And in the summer, it's hours outside, it's days outside. And I'm just so thankful that we have always been able to create that space for our kids to go explore and see what's going to happen. So there has been days that I have not made it outside. Of course, there was days with mastitis, or days that we've been traveling in the airport the whole entire day and we have not made it outside. For the most part, we are getting our shoes on, we're going barefoot, and just seeing what today is going to look like. And I have had a beautiful community who has cheered me on in this and inspired me and also joined me, and I'm so thankful for that, and I love that. And so if you are also feeling motivated to do that also, this is your invitation today to join me and to do what you can, you know? And I would say there has been days where we've just made it into our little sunroom patio and we just sit there, you know, or just even days where I've stood out right outside on our front steps. And so just to even encourage you in that, it doesn't have to look big and like a huge activity that needs to be planned, but that has really helped my headspace. And even just the fact to look forward to something. There has never been anything like going outside for me that has flipped my mood around and how I'm feeling like going outside. Just, you know, it's hard to get out there, but I've never ever regretted it. And so I hope you can take that as encouragement if you're feeling that same way. We're doing it together. So a little bit about my background. I studied holistic nutrition for 2 years. That means I studied about how all the impacts of mental health, sleep, food, stress, our activity, and all plays into our well-being. And so I think that is something that's helpful to know about me, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about looking at the whole picture and maybe seeing things come up that aren't super, you're not feeling super well, or something's not going super great in this situation or this season. And how can we look at the whole picture and rejig what's going on? And so that's really helped my family. And I'm so grateful for that knowledge. And with that, I started a food blog that's all about healthy snacks. So I would love for you to check it out. It's called Beside the Mountain. That is my business name on social media and on the internet. And so you can expect healthy snacks there. That's a fun fact about me. So Daniel's my husband, and we, when we got married, we chose that kind of rock climbing would be our sport to do as a couple. And we pursued that. We've gone on trips to the United States. We've climbed in Cuba. We've climbed in Oman. We've climbed in Kenya. We've climbed in Turkey. And so honestly, I like saying that out loud to you right now is not to brag, but to kind of, for me, looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, we've done that. And it wasn't a huge itinerary at the beginning, but it was small steps of, he taught me how to climb outside, because when I was 14, I learned how to climb in a gym. And from there, we started doing more trips into the United States. And then we would go on international trips, and we'd be like, could we bring our gear and see what happened? And so that is something that we love doing. And we could totally talk more about rock climbing in this podcast. We also love to backpack and hike. My husband, Daniel, teaches an outdoor leadership program for young adults, all about taking people into the backcountry, into the wilderness, to sleep out there, to hike, and to bring people together. And so that is actually how I met him. And so it's another passion of ours to take our kids and to go do that also. And then canoe camping is something that we've recently got into in the last couple of years, and it has been so exciting. That is something we've taken on because of our kids' young ages, and hiking has become more challenging. And so we've started to explore canoe camping, and we just love it. I'm just going to say right now, you're going to get some canoe camping content here, because I'm just so stoked about it, and I think it's perfect for families. And then another thing that Daniel and I are super passionate about is traveling the world. We both did this before we met each other, and then when we started doing life together, it was something that we still really wanted to do. And so we love hot places, and so we often choose to go to a sunny, hot destination in the winter for an extended period of time. And we've almost done this every single year since we've been married, and I'm just so grateful for the experiences that we've gotten through this, and it's something that we're very passionate about. So if you're interested in that, or if you do that also, I'm so thankful that you're here. We're going to talk more about that. I want to connect with you over that. We can share destinations. We can share tips on flying with toddlers. Yeah, it's all the goodness. Okay, so those are kind of, I want to share those because that's the background. That's what I am excited about. Something else I would say is mountain biking is something that I really, really love to do. And that's something that I usually just do alone. I don't really take my kids, and Daniel doesn't come with me. And that is also, I want there to be a space here to talk about that also, about pursuing things that we love, in what capacity we can do that as a mom with having kids, and maybe they can't join in this season right now. Yeah, that's what I want to say about that. Okay, I hope you know a little bit more about me now. If you have questions, ask them. I'm here. I'm an open book. I'm here to chat. I'm all about it. You can expect a podcast every first Tuesday of the month and every third Tuesday of the month. We have moms coming on to chat about canoe tripping, skiing, layering to stay warm in cold weather, getting stronger as a mom, mentally and physically once we have babies, as well as what outdoor adventures look like through the ages, through babies, newborns, toddlers, getting older and older and older, into tweens, all about that. They are going to share lots of gear insight and recommendations on places to go. I'm all about that, and I'm super excited to chat about that. So I hope you're excited. I am so pumped. These conversations that I have had so far that I'm going to share with you have left me so inspired, so encouraged, and I'm just so thankful for this community of moms who loves to explore. Thank you for listening today, for being a part of this community. As I am getting this podcast into the world, I want to ask you a favor. Would you please leave a review on the podcast? Would you leave a star rating and tell us what you thought? This would help it reach more people. It would give signals to, all the algorithms in there that this is a podcast, and to share it with more and more people. That would be such a huge hug to me if you can do that. And then, if you can think of a friend that also loves to go outside, exploring, traveling, all of these things, please send the podcast to them today. That would also be another big hug. And I want to tell you about the fact that I have a Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook and type in Let's Go Outside podcast, you're going to find our group. You're going to join like-minded women. We're going to find people to explore with, people to ask questions about gear, maybe trips that they've already been on, all those kinds of things. Come join that group. I'm really excited about that. No matter where you're at in your outdoor journey, no matter how old your kids are, no matter how beginner you feel, or maybe you're down the road and you're like, what's the next challenge? I need to be excited. I'm kind of not sure where to go next. Wherever you're at, this is the place that you're supposed to be. You are a part of this community. You are what makes this a community, and you belong here. So welcome to the Outdoor Mom Club. Have a beautiful day.